When the corridors fall silent and the night settles in, there's an expectation of peace and recovery within these walls. But what if the very person you entrust your life to becomes the harbinger of death? I'm Zaid, and today we delve into the harrowing tale of Heather Pressdee, a 41-year-old nurse with a facade of care, now cloaked in allegations so sinister they rip apart the very fabric of trust we place in our healthcare providers. Pressdee stands accused of turning life-saving medication into a tool for murder, administering fatal doses of insulin to unsuspecting patients. With charges mounting against her, the story unfolds like a grim tapestry, woven with threads of betrayal. 17 lives claimed, countless others left teetering on the edge of mortality. This is not just a case of malpractice, it's a chilling narrative of premeditated murder wrapped in the guise of care. Join me as we unravel the facts, seek the truth, and pay homage to the lives entangled in this macabre saga. If you're as captivated by the dark intricacies of true crime as I am, hit subscribe and join our journey into the abyss of the human psyche. And now, let's step into the shadows of the night shift, where the line between life and death was blurred by one of its own guardians. Heather Pressdee, a 41-year-old nurse, finds herself at the center of a legal storm, one that has sent ripples of shock across the state of Pennsylvania. The charges laid before her are as grave as they come: 2 counts of first-degree murder, a staggering 17 counts of attempted murder, and 19 counts of neglect of a care-dependent person. These are not just numbers. They represent individual stories, lives that were placed in her hands, and the trust that was allegedly betrayed in the most unthinkable manner. The timeline of these accusations stretches over a period that is as alarming as the charges themselves. Spanning from the year 2020 to the present, the alleged crimes paint a picture of a pattern, a series of actions that went unnoticed for far too long. The victims, whose ages range from 43 to 104, were under her care, some in the twilight of their lives, others not so far along, but all vulnerable and deserving of compassion and respect. This case forces us to confront a reality where the very person tasked with healing could potentially wield the power to harm. It's a narrative that has repeatedly raised the question: how could such alleged acts go undetected? And as the legal proceedings continue to unfold, it is this question, among many others, that we seek to answer. As we delve deeper into the heart of this case, we will bring to light the stories of those affected, the evidence presented, and the defense of a woman who, until proven guilty, stands innocent under the law. The journey through this labyrinth of allegations will undoubtedly be complex, but it is a path we tread in search of clarity and justice. The investigation into Heather Pressdee's actions began not with a shout, but with a whisper of doubt, a murmur that something was amiss in the routine of life and death within the hospital walls. What started as a faint trail of suspicion soon escalated into a full-blown tempest, as patterns emerged and questions arose that could not be ignored. The Pennsylvania Attorney General's office, spearheaded by Michelle Henry, took the helm in navigating this storm. As the investigation deepened, it became apparent that the incidents were not isolated. Evidence began to mount, suggesting a deliberate pattern of behavior that turned the night shifts into a time of peril for those under Pressdee's care. It was the inconsistencies in the medical records, the unexplained drops in blood sugar levels of patients, and the alarming frequency of these events that drew the attention of the authorities. The evidence pointed to a harrowing possibility: that insulin, a life-saving medication, was being used with lethal intent. With each piece of evidence, the case against Pressdee solidified, leading to additional charges that expanded the scope of the investigation across multiple facilities. The Attorney General's office, through meticulous work, laid out a timeline and a trail of actions that led to Pressdee's door. Each charge brought forth was a testament to the gravity of the allegations and the depth of the investigation. As the legal process unfolds, the role of the Attorney General's office remains pivotal. They stand as the guardians of justice, tasked with piecing together the fragments of truth and presenting them to the court, where the final judgment on Pressdee's fate will be made. From the youngest at 43 to the eldest at 104, the victims in this case were individuals who had placed their lives in the hands of the healthcare system, a system embodied by caregivers like Heather Pressdee. These were not just patients, they were people with stories, with families, and with lives that extended beyond the walls of the medical facilities where they sought care. Each number in this case represents a person whose life was cut short, whose story ended abruptly under the shadow of trust they placed in their caregiver. The impact of these alleged crimes ripples far beyond the hospital rooms where they took place. Families are left grappling with a grief that is compounded by betrayal. The pain of losing a loved one is profound, but to lose them to an act of malice, allegedly at the hands of someone entrusted to protect and heal, is a sorrow of a different magnitude. It shakes the foundation of trust that is essential not only to the healing process, but to the very nature of healthcare. The healthcare community, too, is left reeling. Nurses and caregivers dedicate their lives to supporting and healing others. To have someone within their ranks accused of such heinous acts is a stark reminder of the vulnerability of their charges and the sacred responsibility they hold. It prompts a necessary introspection and a reassessment of the systems in place to protect the most vulnerable. It is a call to action, a demand for vigilance, and for a reaffirmation of the oaths taken to do no harm. As we remember the victims, we must also strive to learn from this tragedy. The legacy of those lost must include a commitment to ensuring such acts are never repeated, to honoring their lives by fortifying the trust that should be inherent in every healthcare interaction. In the solemn halls of justice, where the weight of a nurse's oath is held against the gravity of the evidence presented, the case of Heather Pressdee continues to unfold. The courtroom has become the arena where the scales of justice are delicately balanced, scrutinizing the actions that have led to this moment. Pressdee, following her arraignment, finds herself in the custody of the state, held without the possibility of bail. This decision underscores the severity of the charges against her and the perceived risk she may pose. It is a rare and significant move, reflecting the court's careful consideration of the nature of the allegations and the potential implications for public safety. The denial of bail serves as a stark reminder of the stakes at hand. It is a measure of the court's intent to ensure that the proceedings are conducted with the utmost integrity, and that the accused remains present to face the charges laid out before her. As the legal process progresses, each hearing will bring its own revelations and challenges. The defense and the prosecution will present their cases, witnesses will be called, and evidence will be examined. Throughout this, the rights of the accused to a fair trial are preserved, even as the quest for justice for the victims remains the unwavering goal of the proceeding. The community, the families of the victims, and observers of the case watch with bated breath as each development brings them closer to understanding what transpired within the walls where these alleged crimes took place. And as the legal journey continues, many hope for a resolution that brings peace to the bereaved and accountability to the forefront of this tragic narrative. The case of Heather Pressdee casts a long shadow, one that prompts a hard look at the vulnerabilities within our healthcare system. It raises unsettling questions about the safeguards we have in place and the balance we must strike between trust and vigilance. How does a system designed to heal and protect become a setting for harm? Where do the checks and balances need to be tightened? And how can we ensure that those in the most vulnerable positions are safe from those few who might do them harm? This isn't just a matter of policy and procedure, it's a fundamental concern that touches on the very ethos of healthcare. It's about the sacred trust patients place in their caregivers, the trust that is the cornerstone of every medical professional's oath. When that trust is broken, it's not just the individual who suffers, the entire fabric of the healthcare community is called into question. As we process the gravity of this case, let's open the floor for a broader conversation. In the comments below, share your thoughts on how such tragedies could be prevented. What changes would you propose to strengthen the trust between healthcare providers and their patients? How can we, as a society, foster an environment where vigilance is woven into the very fabric of care without compromising the compassion that is the hallmark of healing? Let's use this discussion as a catalyst for change, a way to honor those who have suffered and to ensure that their experiences lead to a safer, more trustworthy healthcare system for all. For those of you who thirst for truth and yearn to understand the darker narratives that unfold beyond the headlines, I invite you to join our community. Hit that subscribe button, and let's dive deep together into the intricate world of true crime stories. Don't forget to follow True Crime Daily for real-time updates on this case and many others. Become an insider for exclusive content that you won't find anywhere else. As the quiet night holds its breath, waiting for answers, we stand vigilant, seeking justice for those silenced too soon. Stay safe, stay aware, and remember, the truth often whispers before it screams. I'm Zaid, and I'll see you in the next video.